Due to popular demand, I have decided to show you a real life SWOT analysis. Yes, real life. I am going to conduct a SWOT analysis on my firm. SWOT analysis. It's an oldie, but it's a goldie. The most important thing I want you to understand is that every entrepreneur needs to do one today, especially in a Canadian economy in which the GDP is shrinking. Yes, year to date, 2025, our GDP is shrinking, which means Canadians are getting poorer and poorer. Our spending power is decreasing. Therefore, you need to know how you can go into beast mode and become the wolf that you are. Okay, moving on. I encourage you to reach out in the comment section and ask how you can implement this to your own business, your own practice. Okay? Don't be shy. Just reach out. It's a safe place. The beauty of SWOT analysis is that it can also be conducted on your job if you're employed, on your studies if you're looking for your career path and see where it's taking you. If you're looking to relocate from one country to another, it can help you do that analysis. And believe it or not, you can also conduct the SWOT analysis on your relationship. Hi guys, I'm Manu and welcome to another episode of Sweet Money. We've got a banger for you today. I am a Canadian and US CPA with a cool little accounting firm better known as Shandel CPA. So first I want you to understand the components of a SWOT analysis. SWOT is an abbreviation for S, which is strengths, W, weakness, O, opportunity, and T is your threats. So the ultimate conclusion that comes out of this is it helps you make strategic decisions of what you have to do moving forward in order to enhance your profits, in order to increase your sales, capture more market, and very importantly, how to stay ahead of the competition and fend off any threats coming your way. SWOT analysis allows businesses to leverage their unique advantages to stand out in a competitive market and attract customers. Identifying weaknesses and threats allows businesses to proactively address challenges and improve their operations. And capitalizing on opportunities by recognizing market opportunities, businesses can capitalize on trends and grow their customer base more effectively. Back in the corporate world, my favorite boss, my mentor, he said to me, Manu, always work in threes. Because the beauty of three is that it's not big enough where you get overwhelmed, and it's also not small enough where you feel like you don't have enough to do. So when you have three objectives every given day, it's just enough to keep your plate full. And in this analysis, we're going to use that power of three for all four quadrants. So tailored services, a lot of accounting firms are now digitizing themselves, and that's where the trend is going, right? And what that does is it takes away the human element. And I am a little old school, and I've shied away from the whole digitization. Not that I'm not doing it, I'm doing it, but at a very slow, calculated pace. To me, I feel I can provide the most value to a client when I have that tailored service, that face-to-face communication where I can understand exactly what they want. And because I'm an extrovert by nature and I enjoy speaking with people, I think it's a great strength of mine. Now, going back to that whole digitization, people are now offering cookie cutter solutions, right? You take product A, B, or C, and we'll run with it. For example, we have some accounting firms who only deal with dentists. And what they've done is they have these streamlined processes. But even in a dentist clinic, no two clinics are the same. Every dentist's challenges and objectives are different. So for me, that stronger client relationship is very important because I want to foster those deeper relationships so I can carve out a solution that is right for you and not what's efficient for me. Now, this one for me is very interesting, which is why I saved it for the end. Most clients, and even accountants are guilty of this, most clients view their personal life, their business life, their retirement as different silos. And they keep them separate from each other. And that's completely wrong way of looking at your financial situation, because everything is interconnected, and quite frankly, everything belongs in one silo. So what I have done is I have actually designed this program, this roadmap, which I call the financial roadmap. And I don't know of anyone else who offers this service, but basically it's my cradle to grave product. And what it is I send you a template. It's a 4-page Excel template. I ask you a bunch of questions, put this in my blender. I do an analysis, and then I sit down with my client and we talk about 5 topics. The 5 topics are: number 1, what are you doing right and wrong when it comes to your tax planning in the present? Okay. So it's tax planning for today. Number 2, where do you want to be when you retire? So what is the lifestyle that you want to obtain? Therefore, how much money do we need when you hit that age of 60, 65, 70, whatever it is? Number 3, where are you today financially? What's your balance sheet today? And in order to achieve that lifestyle, is there a gap? So are you saving at the right pace? Are you saving? Have you got to pick up your saving, or are you way ahead of the game? Like, where exactly are you? Okay. Now, saving is also very strategic. How are you saving and where are you saving, right? Where are you investing your money? And these have tax consequences. That's number 3. Number 4 is now you hit your retirement age. You've hit your retirement age. How will you extract your cash wherever it's sitting in the most tax efficient way? Then number 5, we want to leave a legacy for our loved ones. How will you leave that legacy? What estate planning have you done in order to lessen the tax burden on your loved ones? Because the way it works is the estate pays for the estate taxes and the probate taxes. However, if you have capital assets like properties and houses sitting in your estate, but you don't have any cash, now the only way to pay off the taxes is by selling the properties. Now, do you want to do that? Perhaps not. So there's ways of circumventing the misfortune of having to sell off these assets in order to pay a tax bill. And that is my enhanced client satisfaction product that I offer, which is, I think, my biggest strength. All right. So full disclosure, my biggest weakness, and I'm kind of embarrassed by this. My biggest weakness is that I don't know how to sell. Okay. This might come as a surprise to a lot of you, but I really don't know how to sell. And the method that I use is quite simple. So I find people either very pushy. So I try not to be pushy. I find when people are networking, they're all about themselves and they don't even care what your name is. So I try not to be that person. And then, there's others who are just very savvy with their words. And I'm not that person either. I just tell it the way it is, right? And I just hope the person gets it. So convincing and finessing people is something I'm terrible at. I wish I could improve on this, but and quite frankly, I don't even like the word selling, because selling to me sounds very sleazy and slimy. So if I can improve someone's financial situation, and if the client can see my vision, really that's my goal. And that's where my biggest, weakness lies. Oh, in the comment section, drop me a sentence or two letting me know what you do or what your secret sauce is for selling, when you're out there networking or talking to potential clients. I'd love to hear your strategies. A second weakness of mine, and this has been ongoing since I was promoted to manager back in the my corporate days. My boss's boss once said to me, He says, Manu, until you don't let go of the pennies and nickels, um, you won't be promotable, because I was too caught up in the weeds. And then my response to him, and it feels like it was yesterday, my response was, well, sir, if I don't take care of your pennies and nickels, your dollars will be wrong. Needless to say, I don't think he liked it, but there was some truth to what I said. And as an accountant, it's the way we've been trained and wired. So I don't know how to get out of that zone. But having said that, when I do micromanage, I notice it doesn't allow me to do what a leader should be doing, right? Which is spending more time on business development and client retention and all that type of stuff. So I understand it's something I have to learn to let go of, but I struggle with it. I can't play the game. All right. Let me just be straight up with you guys. And this ties in with the selling component. Now, I can't handle BS, rude behavior, mind games, taking my time for granted, trying to devalue what I do during tax season. I get clients who say, "Hey, Manu, all the work is done. We've compiled everything. All you have to do is punch some numbers into a computer," right? So I find that very insulting. And it's a very sad and desperate attempt to get me to reduce my fees, right? Like in my head, it's like, well, if you've done 90% of the work, why don't you just do the last 10? Like, what's stopping you now, right? So, and because I can't play the game, I get frustrated. And my frustration, my weakness is I can't hide my frustration towards someone. It's very evident. And I'm just an emotional guy. I wear my emotions on my sleeves. So it's bit me a few times, but it is what it is. I like to keep that personable human touch, which is one of my strengths. But on the flip side, there's also an opportunity where I can bring in automation behind the scenes, which allows me to keep the human touch, but the monotonous tasks, repetitive tasks, can be automated. A frustration of mine that I've mentioned several times in past videos is that the education system does not provide financial education. Yes, you have literature teachers teaching these bobo accounting modules, where they pull out the questions and answers from Google and just hand it out to children. So, but as a result of all of this, young students and young adults are graduating, and they're falling into financial distress where they're incurring or collecting large amounts of debt, and they have financial mismanagement by not having adequate tax planning or savings for retirement or estate planning and so on and so forth, right? So having said all that, I see an opportunity out there for offering finance courses. So in the comment section, please drop if there was a finance course that you would want to enroll in. Which topics would you like to learn about? Another opportunity that I see is to provide services that I do not currently provide. For instance, I don't provide SHRED. SHRED is scientific research and development. It's where you can get credits or money for your expenditures. I don't do audits and reviews. I don't do business valuations. And then if I can bring in partners who provide these services, it can help Shandel CPA grow. Right. And that is an opportunity that's out there. But unfortunately, there's a huge shortage of senior level talent out there, which makes it very challenging to partner. So it's the elephant in the room. No one's going to deny it. AI is a threat, right? And if you don't feel nervous about it, it's probably because you're in the trade sector. If you're not in the trade sector, you should be worried about it. Even drivers, believe it or not. Tesla just delivered its first car to a customer's house in which the car drove itself. So it went from the plant to the customer's house on its own. No one drove it to its final destination. So even drivers need to be worried, okay? I don't know what it's capable of doing or how quickly the evolutions will take place. If what they say is true, then AI will be able to do the work of 10 accountants. If it's that crazy, then where I get confused is these new grads coming out of accounting school. How will they learn the basics, right? The junior, intermediate, senior level work before they hit manager. How will they gain those experiences? Because those experiences help me get to where I am today. So how can you go from school straight to a senior level, tax accountant or controller? It just doesn't make sense. It's just very confusing. No one knows what the right answer is, where it's all heading. It's a major threat. And we're at a stage right now is where you can learn it, but you don't know how exactly it will impact you. And it's the threat of the unknown that is so scary. On a more somber, I guess all threats are somber, right? So on another somber note, the Canadian economy has been shrinking. And congratulations to all of you who voted Liberals. And the debt levels are rising, right? Whether it's government or household debts, they're rising. And when I sit there and I look at this on a macro level, if companies are struggling and companies are shrinking, a threat to me is how will these companies then invest in tax planning? Because tax planning, the concept is you spend money today. Let's say you spend $10,000 today, but then down the road, you should save $100,000, right? But if you don't have that $10,000 to invest today, you've lost out on the opportunity of saving 100. And if people don't have the money, I lose out on revenues. So the shrinking economy is a major threat to my livelihood. A really big threat for us accountants is the frequent changes in regulations. For instance, last year, when my boy JT introduced that new capital gains change that was happening of June of 2024, it was mayhem. It was like people were going crazy. And I made a video at that time. And the information was still very new. It was very raw. But because there was mixed messaging and nothing had passed through the House of Commons, I got the video that I made was incorrect. I got the exemptions flipped. After making that video and people went through all their tax planning, JT comes out and says, oh, by the way, we're not going to implement this. It's garbage. It was just, and it's scary for us because our licenses are on the line. When there's regulatory changes and we're providing tax advice, and if we give the wrong advice, we can land in hot trouble. We can get in real serious trouble. So for us to be up to date, our due diligence, not cutting corners, it's very, very important. And it puts a lot of pressure on us. And it's a major threat that's always in the back of our head is we don't want to make mistakes. Okay, now having spent hours filling out your 4 quadrants, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now what I want you to do is from the 3 bullets in each quadrant, I want you to choose one that you think is the most critical, okay? And then what we're going to do is put an action plan behind it. And then with the action plan, we're going to have a goal, okay? So you're going to have 4 action plans and 4 goals, one from each quadrant. So let's work on mine while you work on yours. Now, my action plan is to market my financial roadmap product more aggressively. Okay. I don't mean aggressively like a used car salesman, aggressively in the sense by spreading the word in a very holistic and non-intrusive way, kind of like a YouTube video. And my goal is to grow the sales of my financial roadmap offering by 50% in 2026. So as I mentioned, I'm a terrible salesman. I hate that word salesman, but I am not good at it. So what I'm going to do, my action plan is to make 10 cold calls every single day. And my goal is to convert 1 call into a client every month. There is a real need for financial education. Okay. So my action plan is by Q1 2026, I am going to offer a 6-week financial course for entrepreneurs and a 3-week financial course for individuals. But guys, I need your help on this one. I would like you to tell me which topics would you like to see in these courses. And I promise you, I will consider it and I will try and incorporate it into the courses. So I really need you for this one. And my goal is to onboard my first student by February 2026. As the saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, I am going to spend more time learning about AI, okay? And I'm going to learn it from the objective of how can I implement AI in my accounting practice and in my YouTube video productions. And my goal is by Q4 2025, I will integrate at least one AI product in the accounting practice and one AI product in my video production without sacrificing my trademark, which is that human touch. When you spend hours being honest with yourself, you should have 3 bullet points in each quadrant. Okay. Now, if you're struggling with the weakness and the threats, it's because either A, you don't know yourself, B, you don't fully understand your business, or C, perhaps your ego is getting in the way. But listen, it's time for you to give yourself some tough love. And remember, it all starts with a simple conversation.